Hey everyone, my name is Christine Javier, and today I am going to work on FreeCodeCamp's check for palindromes algorithm, where essentially you're checking to see if the input string is palindromic or not. And really quick, a palindrome is a word or sentence that's spelled the same way both forward and backward, ignoring punctuation, case, and spacing. So that last part here is really important for us. We're going to make sure that we're going to manipulate whatever input we have to take that into account, that we're ignoring punctuation, case, and spacing. And they mentioned that in the note here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to work on my text editor. All right, let me just copy this function. All right, and I already included the test cases, so we could quickly go through those once we have our algorithm made. Now, the first thing you want to do is manipulate the string to consider to take into account that there are going to be symbols and to remove any symbols. So that is just begging for some regex. And a source I like to use for regex is something called Regex 101. All right, cool. And if you're not familiar with regex, it's just a way to allow for the matching of a certain set of characters that you want to match throughout a string or whatever. So let me just give you an example. It makes most sense that way. Hi, my name is Christine Javier. Cool. I'm just going to add in some random symbols now. Yeah, so essentially what we're targeting for our purposes of this algorithm is any space, any character, and that's essentially it. And we want to match it throughout the entirety of the string, and that's pretty key here. All right, so there is this shortcut to, instead of listing out all the individual characters, it's /capital W, and that matches with any non-word character. And the way to read this is the caret means not, so it's anything that's not the lowercase a through z, or uppercase a through z, or 0 through 9, any numeric value, or an underscore. And that's kind of important for our purposes. We want to be able to include underscores. So I'm just going to make sure I account for that as well. And it's important to apply your regex globally so that we could go through the entirety of any input. And as you can see, everything I want to match with matches. I am matching every space and every character I want to get rid of for the purposes of our palindrome algorithm. All right, let's go back here. Now let's make our regex useful for JavaScript. And the way to do that is just to declare a variable. I'm going to call it symbols. And you're just going to do 2 forward slashes. Inside of those, you're going to just put in that code that we just wrote. All right, underscore, and make sure you make it global. And that's one syntax of doing this. I find that the easiest way to do it, but you could also use something called new regex, and you could look into that. But this one just is most readable to me, and I like using it. All right, anyway, so now we have our string, and we have a way to match any of the characters we don't want in the string. So what should we do with that information? We should replace the symbols with just an empty value, therefore resulting in a string that just excludes all those symbols. All right, so I'm going to set str equal to str.replace. I'm replacing the symbols with nothing. And also, let's take into account that some of the characters are going to be uppercase, and therefore it might result in false when really they're true. It's just the casing of the letter. So let's go ahead and make our string uniform by setting everything to lowercase. All right, and that should work. Good, so we have a way to configure our string. Now, how do we configure the palindrome of this string and see if that truly is a palindrome of the string? So what I'm going to do here is declare a new variable, var, I'll call it palindromic equals, it's essentially going to equal all of this here. But also importantly, we want to be able to reverse it, right? And the best way to do that is using the split method. So I'm going to do palindromic equals palindromic dot split. All right, and once it's split, let's go ahead and reverse it and see if the reverse of the string actually equals the string. Now from here, it's still an array because split method results in an array. Reverse method here just reverses the characters in order. And now we just need to join it all together and make sure that dot join and make it and turn it back into a string. And now here, we're not just simply going to return true, we're going to return the Boolean value of whether or not palindromic matches str. Boolean str equals palindromic. Good. So I'm going to just console.log in this function. This isn't, for the purpose of passing free code camp, it's for the purpose of seeing what string and palindromic actually look like. All right, now let's work on our first test case and see what that returns. So palindrome I should return true. Let's run that. As you can see, str equals I, palindromic equals I, and then we have the true value. So I'm just gonna make this more readable. All right, and then all right, there we go. So it's true. Great. And then let's work on race car. Notice that we're taking into account a space there. Yep, race car equals race car. So that's a palindrome. And the third test case, not a palindrome, should return false. Let's run it. Good, we end up with false. And notice that they look nothing the same. All right, and let's see the fourth one here. We see a capital letter, we see a period, we see spaces and commas. And hey, it's still true, and it should return true. Very good. And I could go through all of this, but let's just pick some more interesting ones. This one would seem like it might be a palindrome, but you have to kind of think a little harder on that one. And you'll see that it's not. It's not quite. And that should return false, like we wanted. This one here includes the underscore that we, specifically tackled in our regex. Let's run that. Good, and it's true. So it works. Really quick, this is bulky and it doesn't have to be that bulky. Notice the redundancy of this. And I kind of went over this in my last video, but we could all put this onto one line. So I'm going to just make var palindromic equal to all of that, dot split. Now it's an array. And then we're going to reverse that array, dot reverse. And then we're going to join that. So now it's all, var palindromic is all in one line, and it's a little less bulky. So let's see, did I miss anything? That looks good. Let me just take out these console.logs as well. Oops. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. And it works. Cool. So really quick, I just want to go over what we did here. Just in case you guys are like not really sure what happened. I'll read it step by step. str.replace. We're getting the input string. We're replacing the symbols of the string with nothing so that it just takes away all the symbols. It turns the string's characters all to lowercase. And then it splits the string so that the string now is in an array. And now we can manipulate it, and we do so by reversing all the characters back from forward to back and back to forth. Then we join it, and it turns back into a string. So that's kind of just the way you read those one-line answers. All right, so I'm just gonna run it again because I love seeing that message. Cool. Well, hopefully that helped you out, and yeah, hopefully you learned a thing or two about palindromes. Have a good day, guys.